Today, we want to shed light on a topic that often goes unaddressed in our modern society: the impact of worldly entertainment on our spiritual lives. In our journey as Christians, we are called to live lives that are pleasing to God, lives that reflect His holiness and righteousness. However, the world bombards us with various forms of entertainment that often lead us away from the path of righteousness. The psalmist wrote, "I have hated the congregation of evildoers, and will not sit with the wicked." These words remind us of the importance of being selective about the company we keep and the influences we allow into our lives. Worldly entertainment often glorifies values and lifestyles that are contrary to the teachings of Christ. When we immerse ourselves in such entertainment, we risk being swayed by the values of the world rather than standing firm in our faith. The Apostle Peter exhorts us, "Therefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, not conforming yourselves to the former lusts, as in your ignorance. But as He who called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct." As Christians, we are called to be set apart from the world. We are called to be holy, just as God is holy. This means that we must be vigilant about the influences we allow into our minds and hearts through the entertainment we consume. We cannot afford to conform to the patterns of this world if we are to live lives that honor God. Peter also warns us, "In regard to these, they think it strange that you do not run with them in the same flood of dissipation, speaking evil of you." When we choose to abstain from worldly entertainment, we may face ridicule and criticism from those around us. The world may view our refusal to participate in certain activities as odd or outdated. However, as followers of Christ, we must be willing to endure such persecution for the sake of our faith. Now let's dive into the historic faith through the writings of the early church fathers. Tatian, writing to pagans in 160 AD, criticizes the indulgence in immoral and depraved entertainment such as ribaldry, adultery, and gladiatorial combat, condemning the societal acceptance and glorification of such activities.
Utter ribaldry in pretentious tones, and they act out indecent movements. Your daughters and your sons watch them giving lessons in adultery on the stage. Admirable, too, are your lying poets, who beguile their listeners from the truth through their fictions, and the boxers meet in single combat, for no reason whatever. Are such exhibitions to your credit? He who is chief among you collects a legion of blood-stained murderers, i.e. gladiators, engaging to maintain them. And he who misses the murderous exhibition is grieved, for he was not doomed to be a spectator of wicked, impious, and abominable deeds.
Theophilus, around 180 AD, advises against attending theaters, warning against the corrupting influence of the immoral themes and actions depicted, including cannibalism and adultery, which are glorified and celebrated in dramatic performances.
Neither may we watch the other spectacles, i.e., the theaters, lest our eyes and ears be defiled by participating in the utterances that are sung there. For if one should speak of cannibalism, in these spectacles the children of Thyestes and Tereus are eaten. And as for adultery, both in the case of men and of gods, whom they celebrate in elegant language for honors and prizes, this is made the subject of their dramas.
Clement of Alexandria, circa 195 AD, cautions against attending public spectacles, describing the racecourse and theater as the seat of plagues, advocating for the prohibition of spectacles and plays featuring indecent language and gossip, as they showcase various base actions contrary to moral conduct.
The instructor will not, then, bring us to public spectacles. Not inappropriately, one might call the racecourse and the theater the seat of plagues. Let spectacles, therefore, and plays that are full of indecent language and abundant gossip, be forbidden. For what base action is there that is not exhibited in the theaters?
Tertullian, around 197 AD, argues against attending the theater, denouncing it as a hub of immodesty where even harlots are showcased, and questions the inconsistency of society's acceptance of immoral sights and sounds in theaters, despite acknowledging their defiling nature.
Not, in like manner, commanded to put away from us all immodesty. On this ground again we are excluded from the theater, which is immodesty's own peculiar abode. The very harlots, too, victims of the public lust, are brought upon the stage. Let the Senate, let all ranks, blush for very shame. Is it right to look on what it is disgraceful to do? How is it that the things that defile a man in going out of his mouth are not regarded as doing so when they go in his eyes and ears?
Minucius Felix, circa 200 AD, emphasizes the importance of character and modesty, abstaining from immoral pleasures, pagan festivities and exhibitions, condemning the detrimental influence of chariot, gladiatorial and drama games which promote violence, debauchery and deceit.
They are evaluated by our character and our modesty. Therefore, for good reason, we abstain from evil pleasures, and from your pomps and exhibitions. We know the origin in connection with religious things, and we condemn their mischievous enticements. For in the chariot games, who does not shudder at the madness of the people brawling among themselves? Who does not wince at the teaching of murder in the gladiatorial games? In the drama games, the madness is not less. Rather, the debauchery is more either prolonged. For now a mime same actor provokes your tears with pretended sufferings, with vain gestures and expressions.
Novatian, around 235 AD, condemns idolatry as the root of public amusements, asserting that attending such shows contradicts the renunciation of Satan made in baptism, equating participation in these exhibitions with a rejection of Christ, highlighting the inconsistency of exorcising demons in church while praising worldly delights.
Is the mother of all the public amusements. A man has no shame if he exorcises demons in the church, but then praises their delights in the public shows. A Christian has once for all renounced Satan. However, he disregards what he has renounced in baptism if he goes to the devil's exhibitions after coming to Christ. In doing so, he renounces Christ just as much as he had previously renounced the devil.
Lactantius, between 304–313 AD, asserts that Christians have access to nobler forms of entertainment, such as admiring the beauty of nature, compared to the debased content of theatrical performances which glorify dishonorable actions, incite lust and corrupt society, urging Christians to avoid such immoral spectacles.
The Christian has nobler exhibitions if he desires them. He has that beauty of the world to look upon and admire, to say nothing of those pleasures he cannot yet contemplate. He may gaze upon the sun's rising and on its then the gladiator combats. That is because the subject of comedies is the dishonoring of virgins or the loves of harlots. And the more eloquent they are who have written the narratives of these disgraceful actions, the more they persuade others by the elegance of their words. In like manner, the tragedies place before the eyes of the audience the incests and parental murders of wicked kings. They also portray dire crimes. And what effect do the immodest gestures of the actors produce? Except to teach and incite lust. The actors' weakened bodies are rendered effeminate after the gait and dress of women. They imitate unchaste women by their disgraceful gestures. Why should I even mention the mimes who instruct others in corrupting influences? They teach adulteries while they act them out. By pretended actions, they train their audience to do those actions that are real. What can young men or virgins do when they see that these things are practiced without shame and are willingly watched by all?
The early church cautioned against attending theaters and partaking in spectacles that promote immorality and idolatry. Their words serve as a timely reminder for us today. We must be mindful of the content we expose ourselves to and the messages we allow to shape our thinking. In conclusion, dear friends, let us guard our hearts and minds against the harmful influences of worldly entertainment. Let us heed the words of Scripture and strive to live lives that are pleasing to God.